Hello and welcome. Today we bring you a mystery full of suspense and secrets. The Girl in the Pool. This story follows Detective Flick Laine, who travels to the snowy mountains of Colorado to investigate the death of a young woman. What looks like an accident soon becomes a dangerous search for the truth. Step by step, Flick discovers hidden lies, powerful enemies, and a deadly secret that someone will kill to protect. So, sit back, relax, and enjoy this thrilling story while improving your English. Chapter 1. A Girl in the Water. It was January when they found the body of a young woman. The body was in Pinecrest, a small town about 90 miles from Denver, high up in the Rocky Mountains. In the past, the town was famous for silver and gold. Now it was a holiday place. People came in winter to ski, and in summer to walk in the mountains. Some movie stars even had houses there. When the snow fell, Pinecrest looked peaceful and beautiful, but snow came often in winter. Pinecrest was not the kind of place where you usually discovered a dead body. That happened in Denver, not in a quiet mountain town. Of course, accidents sometimes occurred. Skiers fell or crashed. I remembered one young man who died 3 years earlier when he went too fast and hit a tree. It was sad, but not unusual. But murder, that was different. One cold January morning, my boss, Chief of Denver Police Leo Cohn, called me into his office. "Flick, they found a girl's body in Pinecrest," he said. He was a thin, busy man, never still for long. He stood beside his desk. "They found her yesterday." "Oh?" I answered. "It looks like someone killed her," he added. I stayed quiet. "Murder," he repeated, as if I had not heard him. He waited. Then he said, "I want you to go up to Pinecrest." "So that's it," I said. "But Leo, why me? It's too soon. Only 2 months ago. I can't." "Flick, you're the best detective we have," he told me, "and you need time away from Denver. It will help you." "Leo," I began, but stopped. Then he looked me in the eye. "Please, Flick. Bill Gershon, the police chief in Pinecrest, is a friend. He's worried. If it is murder, tourists won't come. No one wants to ski where a killer is loose." He was right. I knew Pinecrest well. I often skied there on weekends. The town lived on visitors. Hotels, cafes, ski schools. Everyone needed the tourists. "And the girl?" I asked. Leo smiled slightly. He saw I was interested. She was visiting with college friends. They came for a ski holiday. They found her in the swimming pool at their hotel. "She drowned in the pool?" I asked. "It looks like someone held her under," he said. "She was only 23. "And?" I pressed. "You'll get more from Gershon," Leo replied. I stood to leave. At the door he called. "And Flick." "Yes?" "Catch this killer quickly. It will make Denver police look good, and it will help you too." He didn't say more, but I knew what he meant. "Okay, Leo," I said. "But remember, only 2 months ago. Scott." "Yeah, I know. But Flick, Scott is gone," Leo said gently. "You have to live." He turned to the window. The talk was finished. I went back to my office and picked up my notebook, phone, and car keys. I thought about Detective Scott King. Then I took my gun and hid it under my jacket. In the parking lot, I looked at my red 1957 Chevrolet. My Chevy always made me smile. Sometimes it felt like the only good thing left in my life. Scott and I had worked together for 4 years. We were the best team in Denver. More than partners, we were close friends. But 2 months ago, Eddie Lang shot him. I watched my partner die. Yeah, I thought, Scott's gone, and I have to go on, but most days that was hard. I packed a bag at my apartment, put on my blue suit, checked my gun again, and told myself I was ready. Ready to find a killer without Scott. Soon, I was driving along I-70, heading into the mountains, trying not to think about Scott or Eddie Laine. Chapter 2. Driving to Pinecrest. It was hard not to think about Scott King. As I drove higher into the Rocky Mountains, his face kept coming back to me, his smile, his jokes, the way he worked. "Stop it, Flick," I told myself. I switched on the radio. An old country song played, then the news. "Good morning. Police have found the body of a young woman in the swimming pool of the Mountain Hotel in Pinecrest. The victim, aged 23 and from Texas, was on a ski holiday. Police believe she was murdered." I quickly turned the radio off. Scott's face was in my head again. I remembered the first time we worked together. "Flick," he said, laughing. "That's a funny name. We were in a Denver police car." "My real name's Felicity," I explained. "My dad named me after a movie star. But the kids at school teased me, so everyone called me Flick." "Flick Laine," he repeated. "It sounds good." Then he laughed. "Scott and Flick, crime fighters." "Don't you mean Flick and Scott?" I replied, smiling. Now, as I drove, the road climbed to 7,000 feet. The sky was bright blue, the mountains wide and white. It was beautiful, but my mind went back to November, the night Scott died. We had been chasing Eddie Laine, a dangerous criminal. He killed for money. We found his hiding place in a dark, old house. "Don't worry, Scott. I'm right behind you," I whispered that night. He went ahead. Then came a loud gunshot. Scott fell to the floor. Blood spread everywhere. I ran outside and called for backup, but it was too late. Eddie Laine escaped. Scott was gone. I thought about that night every single day. An hour later, I reached Pinecrest and parked in front of the police station. Inside, Bill Gershon, chief of Pinecrest Police, looked at me with a frown. "So, Leo sent me." "A woman," he said. "Yeah," I answered, with a small smile. "Lucky you." He didn't smile back. He was a round man, round body, round face, round glasses. About 55, with little hair left. His office showed he was used to dealing with traffic fines, not murder cases. "We don't get many murders here," he said. "Let's keep this simple," I told him. "Give me the facts." "Her name was Janine Anderson," he said slowly. "She was a student from Austin, Texas. She wanted to be a journalist. Cause of death, drowning." He slid some papers across his desk. "Her parents were in Europe," Gershon added. "They're flying back today." "Who found her?" I asked, sipping the coffee he gave me. "Her friend, Teresa Douglas," Gershon said. "They were staying at the Mountain Hotel. At about 9, Janine went to the top-floor swimming pool. By 11, Teresa went looking for her and found her body in the water." "Dead already?" I asked. "Yes. She tried mouth-to-mouth, then called 911. We arrived at 11:15, but it was too late." "Any other friends?" "Yes. Jeff Mason, another student from Austin," he replied. "Any marks on her body?" "Only one, on the back of her neck. It looks like someone forced her head under the water." "We don't know that yet," I reminded him. "This is terrible," Gershon shouted. "Governor Johnson is coming here soon. A murder is the last thing we need." Clark Johnson, governor of Colorado, was already being talked about as the next president of the United States. He lived near Pinecrest. I studied Gershon. He wasn't upset about Janine. He was upset about bad publicity. I finished my coffee and stood. "Here's my number," I said, writing it down. "I'll be at the Pine Lodge Hotel." At the door I turned. Like it or not, We'll have to work together. If this is murder, we must stop the killer before he kills again." Outside, the air was thin and sharp. Pine Crest was at 9,000 feet, much colder than Denver. Smoke from wood fires hung in the air. I walked down the street toward the Mountain Hotel. The town looked pretty small houses in the center, big luxury homes up the hill for the rich and famous. Movie stars and athletes owned places here. Sometimes you saw them skiing or in the expensive restaurants. Above the town rose the White Mountains, full of ski runs, but almost no one was skiing. Tourists were frightened. No one wanted to holiday in a town with a killer on the loose. Chapter 3. Friends of the Dead Girl. I walked into the Mountain Hotel. It looked warm and rich inside. A big fire burned in the bar. Everything looked comfortable. Janine Anderson's friends, Teresa Douglas and Jeff Mason, were in room 203. They were young, about 22 or 23, and they both looked lost and sad. "It's so awful," Teresa whispered, tears running down her face. Jeff sat beside her, his hand on her shoulder. I looked around the room. It was Jeff's. From the window I could see the tall mountain called Snow Peak. Ski boots were by the window. Clothes were on the chairs. "We still can't believe she's dead, ma'am," Jeff said in his Texas accent. He was tall, blond and handsome. "I know," I said gently. "I won't keep you long. Just a few questions." "Of course," Jeff said. "It was about 11 when I went to find her," Teresa explained. "She had dark hair and very pale skin." "You and Janine shared a room?" I asked. "Yes, room 309. Jeff stayed here." I gave her time. "She went to the pool around 9, Teresa continued. "I was tired after skiing, so I fell asleep about 10:30. But I woke up before 11 and saw Janine's bed was still empty. I dressed quickly and went up to the top floor. The night was cold. Then I saw her. She was floating in the pool. She covered her face. "I can't stop seeing it," she whispered. "I jumped in," she went on. "I tried to pull her out, but she was too heavy. I turned her over and gave mouth to mouth, but nothing worked. I knew she was gone." "No one else was there?" I asked softly. "I didn't see anyone," she said. I screamed. A hotel worker came and called the police. "Was Janine a good swimmer?" "Oh, yes, ma'am," Jeff said quickly. "She was excellent. She couldn't have drowned by accident." "How long have you been in Pine Crest?" I asked. 10 days, Jeff answered. "We're leaving tomorrow. Classes start next week." "And you studied journalism too, like Janine?" "Yes," Jeff said. He looked pale. "She wanted to be a reporter more than anything. She was really talented." "We met in the ski club," Teresa added. "We all loved skiing. Was this your first time here?" "Yes, for us," Jeff said. "But Janine came every year. She loved it here. She said it was beautiful, and she was right. We were having a great time, until this." "Did she know anyone in town?" I asked. "I don't think so," Teresa said, shaking her head. "Just us." "But she often went out alone?" "Yes. She liked to swim alone in the evenings. She didn't say she was meeting anyone. She just liked to think, or write in her notebook, and swim." "Notebook?" I asked. "Yes," Teresa nodded. She wrote every day, her thoughts, her dreams, what she saw. She wanted to be a writer. "And the notebook is where now?" "In our room," Teresa said, "by her bed. She wrote in it every morning. Do you want me to get it?" "We'll go together," I said. We all went upstairs to room 309. It looked the same as Jeff's, but with 2 beds. Teresa searched quickly. "I can't find it," she cried. "It's gone." "Maybe she took it to the pool," Jeff said. We searched under the beds, in the drawers, in the closet. Nothing. The notebook was missing. I left them there, but my mind was racing. Where was Janine's notebook? And if someone had taken it, why? Chapter 4. Watching the Pool. I went upstairs to the hotel's swimming pool where Janine's body was found. From the roof, you could see the town and the snowy mountains all around. 2 local policemen stood beside the water. "Were you here last night?" I asked. "Yes, Detective Laine," one answered. He was tall and broad. "Sergeant Bob Williams." "Did you find anything?" I asked. "Only this," he said, holding up a pen. It was by the side of the pool. They're checking if it belonged to the girl. So Janine had probably been writing in her notebook. The pen was here, but the notebook was gone. "Can people reach the pool without going through the hotel lobby?" I asked. "Yes," Williams said. "You can come from the parking lot, go past the ski storage area, and take the elevator straight to the pool." "No security cameras?" I asked. "No," Williams shook his head. "The manager said they never needed them." "Well, now they do," I muttered as I left the mountain hotel. Across the street stood a restaurant called the Columbine. People were sitting outside on the upper terrace. From there, you could look directly at the pool on the hotel roof. I went inside and showed a young waiter my badge. From the terrace, I could see Sergeant Williams standing by the pool. "What about last night?" I asked the waiter. "Did you see anything unusual?" He thought for a moment. "There was one man. He's been here every night for about 10 days. A slim guy, maybe 35, always alone. He stays for hours." "And last night?" I asked quickly. "Well, it was strange," the waiter said. "He ordered coffee but left before it came." "Did he pay?" "Yes. He left money on the table and hurried out." "What time was that?" "I don't know exactly. We close at 10. Staff leave about 10:30. So the man could have walked across the street after 10, slipped into the hotel through the parking lot, and taken the elevator up to the pool. Could this man have killed Janine? I went back to the police station and told Gershon. "Put Williams on it," I said. "Find out who this man Island." Then I drove to my own hotel, the Pine Lodge. I had stayed there before on ski weekends. It was small, friendly, and comfortable. From my window I could see the mountains. I sat on the bed, thinking. The killer's plan was simple. He could watch Janine from the Columbine, wait, and then cross the street. But why kill her? I called Leo in Denver and gave him an update. He listened, then asked, "How's Gershon?" "He's shocked I'm a woman," I said. "You didn't tell him." Leo laughed. I laughed too for a moment. It felt good. Then his voice turned serious. "Flick, we got new information about Eddie Langscott's killer." I sat up. "Tell me, are we close?" "Not yet," Leo said. "But we're getting closer." "I'm coming back," I said. "No," he told me firmly. "Stay on this case. We'll handle Lang. You handle Pinecrest." I hung up, exhausted. It was only 3 in the afternoon, but I fell asleep and dreamed of Scott again. I saw his blood on the floor. The phone woke me. "Detective Laine?" a young man's voice asked. "Yes. Who is this?" "It's Jeff Mason, Janine's friend. I need to talk to you." "All right, Jeff," I said. "Come over." 10 minutes later, Jeff arrived. We sat near the fire in the hotel reception. "What is it, Jeff?" I asked. He looked nervous. "It's about Janine's notebook." Chapter 5. Janine's Story. Jeff leaned closer to me. His face was pale. "It's about Janine's notebook," he said quietly. "You have it?" I asked quickly. "No," he shook his head. "But I think I know why someone took it. You know Janine was studying journalism, right?" "Yes," I said. "Well, Every year our university has a big competition, Jeff explained. Students write an article. The best one wins a prize. And Janine wanted to win, I said. She wanted it more than anything, Jeff nodded. She was the best writer in our class, and she was working on a story, a big one. A story about Pinecrest? I asked. Yes. I saw her go to the town library, twice at least. She looked at old newspapers, took notes. She was researching something important. But she didn't tell you what it was? I asked. Jeff gave a small smile. No. I was in the competition too. She didn't want to share. So maybe the notebook disappeared because of that story, I said. That's what I think, Jeff said. Maybe someone didn't want her to finish it. Maybe that's why she's dead. His words hung in the air. After a long pause, Jeff spoke again. You know, Detective, losing someone close is terrible. I can't explain how much it hurts. Yes, I said softly. I know. For a second I felt the need to tell him about Scott, how Eddie Lang killed my partner. So I did. I told him the story. We never proved it was Lang, I said. But I knew. I saw him. Without proof, I couldn't stop him. Jeff nodded. I understand. But one day you'll catch him. Yes, I said. One day. That night, around 9:30, Janine's parents arrived from Europe. They had left their holiday in Italy and flown home. A police car brought them straight from Denver Airport to Pinecrest. At 11, Chief Gershon and I met them at the Pine Lodge Hotel. I'm so sorry, I said quietly. I'll keep this short. Jean and Loretta Anderson were about 45, well-dressed and clearly wealthy Texans. Janine's mother quickly went upstairs, but I sat with her father. I can't believe it, he said again and again. She was so young, so smart. Who would kill her? I don't know yet, I said, but I promise I'll find out. He nodded slowly. I pray you do, Detective. There's one thing you can help me with, I said. Janine was working on a story for a university competition. Did she ever tell you about it? Yes, he said. At Christmas she was excited. She told me, Daddy, this story is so big it will win the prize, and maybe someone will go to prison for a long time. Did she say who? I asked quickly. No. She didn't want to tell me. I thanked him and left. The next morning, I walked to the Pinecrest Library. On the wall outside was a sign, Books can change your life. Inside, a young librarian smiled at me. Can I help you? I showed her my badge, Detective Flick Laine, Denver Police. I need information about Janine Anderson. The smile faded. Oh yes, that poor girl. She came here often. What was she looking for? I asked. Mostly old newspapers, the librarian said. She had a letter from her university, so we let her take them out. Do you have a list of what she borrowed? Yes. One moment. She turned to her computer. On the screen was Janine's name and a list of books and newspapers she borrowed. Most were about Colorado, land, and development. One article caught my eye. It was about Red Ridge, a small mining town. The newspaper said Alpine Resorts had turned it into a huge ski resort. There was also an interview with movie star Susan Hunter. People came to Colorado for silver and gold, Hunter had said. Now the new gold is land for ski resorts. Developers make millions, but they are destroying our natural beauty. I'm fighting to save Colorado. I closed the paper and thought, maybe Janine's story was about this fight, about big money, big business, and someone powerful who wanted it hidden. Chapter 6. Susan Hunter. I called Gershon. Susan Hunter, I said. The actress. She's been speaking out against land development. She used to, Gershon replied, but not lately. "Where does she live?" I asked. "Hillside," he said. It was the rich part of Pine Crest, where movie stars and businessmen had their big homes. "I'll visit her," I said. "And the hospital report. They're sure now," he told me. Janine was murdered. And the killer was a man. Time of death, between 10:30 and 11. So Janine died only minutes before Teresa found her body. That afternoon, I parked my red Chevy next to Susan Hunter's expensive Jaguar. Her house was huge and beautiful. Security cameras watched every corner. A very tall man opened the door. I saw the shape of a gun under his jacket. He showed my badge. He smiled politely. "Good afternoon, Detective Laine." He led me into a wide, stylish living room. Soon, Susan Hunter walked in. She was striking. A woman in her 30s with black hair and clear blue eyes. She wore grey trousers and a red blouse with a high collar. On the walls were photos of her with other famous stars and pictures of her husband and 3 children. "Detective," she said, offering me tea. Long ago, Colorado had silver and gold. Now it has ski resorts. There is always a reason to take the land. I waited for her to continue. "But it can't go on," she said firmly. "This land belongs to our children. Colorado is beautiful. It should stay that way." "It is beautiful," I agreed. The sun was setting over the mountains, painting the sky pink and orange. "But ski resorts mean millions," she said. "Look at Redridge." "Yes," I said. I knew the town about 30 miles away. 3 years ago it was small and quiet, she explained. Then Alpine Resorts arrived. Now there are hotels, shops, restaurants, thousands of visitors. They make millions, but the natural beauty is gone. "Didn't the government control the land?" I asked. "Yes, the government land office owned it for 50 years. Then, in 1997, they decided to sell. 5 companies tried. 3 of them had good plans to protect Redridge. But the winner was Alpine Resorts." "Why them?" I asked. She looked me straight in the eyes. "Because Ricky Klein, the boss of Alpine, paid someone. A bribe." "A bribe? How much?" "Millions. That's what we believe. But the land office kept it secret until it was too late. My group, Save Colorado, heard about it from an insider. But we never knew who took the money." "Did Janine Anderson talk to you?" I asked. "Yes," she admitted softly. "She came here last year. I told her everything I knew. That was it. Janine had been chasing the truth. Maybe she discovered the name of the man who took the bribe." "And Pinecrest?" I asked. "Alpine wants it next," she said sadly. "What happened to Redridge will happen here." I stood, but asked one more question. "Why didn't you go public? Why not tell the police before?" She pulled down the collar of her blouse. A long scar ran across her neck. "Detective, I have a husband and 3 children," she said quietly. "I don't want to die." "What happened?" I asked. "A year ago, someone attacked me in the dark. I didn't see his face. But I'm sure it was because of this fight. These are dangerous days. We must be careful." Dangerous days, I thought, feeling the weight of my gun under my jacket as I left her house. Chapter 7. The Resort at Redridge. I couldn't stop thinking about Susan Hunter's words. Ricky Klein of Alpine Resorts had bribed someone in the government land office. Janine must have found out who. That was why she died. Back in my hotel room, I called Gershon. "Bill, I need a full list of people who worked in the government land office since 1996, I told him. He sounded uncertain. "That might take time." "Then start now," I said firmly. The next morning I got up early. I wanted to see Redridge for myself. The town was 30 miles away. At the entrance stood a big sign. "Welcome to Redridge, home of Alpine Resorts, Colorado." The main street was crowded with tourists, but at the far end stood the massive Alpine Resorts complex. A man in a blue uniform smiled at me. "Good morning. How can I help you?" "I'd like to take a look," I said. "Of course. Someone will show you around," he replied. A young blonder woman soon arrived. "Good morning. I'm Tina Nielsen from Alpine Resorts. Let me show you our resort." Alpine Resorts was almost a town of its own: hotels, restaurants, rental shops, holiday homes, even 3 swimming pools. "We offer the complete vacation," Tina said proudly. "Our visitors never need to leave." I looked around. The buildings were so big they covered the view of the mountains. "It's perfect for families," she added. "And our ski runs cover the whole mountain." "You mean I can't ski here unless I stay here?" I asked. "You can buy a day pass," she explained. "And how much is that?" $300, she replied brightly. 300. That was double the price in Pinecrest. She smiled. "But we can give you a half-price pass. Just $75. "All right," I said. An hour of skiing might help me think. I rented skis and boots, then took the lift up. The snow was good, and the day was clear. But from the top of the mountain, I saw just how huge Alpine Resorts had become. At 11:30, I stopped at a cafe halfway down. It was full of skiers. I ordered coffee and looked at the ski map. Above the cafe were the black run-steep slopes with names like Mad Dog and Killer Run. I decided to try them. I took the mountaintops lift higher, up to 10,500 feet. The world was white and silent. Only a few tiny skiers moved far below. I touched the gun under my coat. I wanted to go even higher to the summit at 12,000 feet. I started to walk toward the next lift. Suddenly, I heard footsteps behind me. "Detective Lane," a man's voice said. I turned. A man stood there wearing a black ski mask. Only his brown eyes showed. He stepped closer and pushed something hard into my back. A gun. "Turn around," he whispered. "We're going up together." There was no one else nearby. Just me, the masked man, and the white mountain. "Don't try anything," he warned, "or you'll die." Chapter 8. The Ski Lift. "You can't do this," I said to the man in the ski mask. "Quiet." "Get on," he ordered, pushing me toward the ski lift. The chair was for 2 people. He shoved me onto the seat and sat down beside me. Slowly, the lift carried us higher and higher above the white slope. I looked at him, slim build, brown eyes. Could this be the man from the Columbine restaurant? "Give me your gun," he demanded. "My gun?" I asked, stalling for time. "Yes, I know you have one. Hand it over." Carefully, I pulled it from under my coat and gave it to him. He slipped it into his pocket. "Now it's simple," he said. "You're going to fall off this chair. People will think it was an accident." "You're crazy," I told him. "They'll catch you." He laughed. "Nobody will know. You don't know me, and I don't know you. That's how it works." I needed him to talk, so I took a risk. "You work for Ricky Klein," I said. His eyes narrowed. "You're smart," he admitted. "And Janine Anderson?" I pressed. "Did you kill her?" "We had to," he said coldly. She knew too much. She kept asking questions. She was ready to tell the world. "How did you know she was at the pool that night?" I asked. "I watched her," he said simply. "From the Columbine. She went swimming almost every evening. It was easy. I followed her through the parking lot and into the hotel." "And her notebook?" I asked quickly. "I took it," he said with a short laugh, "and I burned it." I didn't believe him. "But she found out the name," I said. The name of the man who took the bribe. Who was it? The man's eyes glinted. Yes. She found out. Big CJ. Big CJ? I asked. Who's that? That's enough questions, he snapped. I do the killing. That's all you need to know. He pushed at the safety bar, ready to throw me out. You're next, detective, he said. Time to die. He moved to grab me, but I struck first. I hit his face hard with my right hand, then slammed his arm with my left. The gun slipped out of his pocket, dropped through the air, and vanished into the snow below. He tried to shout, but I didn't give him the chance. I hit the back of his head and shoved him with all my strength. He fell down, 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 until the trees swallowed him. I pulled the safety bar back down and held on tight. The lift kept moving slowly upward. The mountain was silent. The only sound was my heart, beating hard in my chest. Chapter 9. Big CJ. I kept watching the trees far below, but the man in the ski mask was gone. The lift carried me higher. My hands shook, but I forced myself to stay calm. At the top, I told the ski patrol what had happened. They moved fast, sending a rescue team down into the trees. After 20 minutes, they returned. One man carried a small bag. We found him, he said. He's dead. He opened the bag and showed me a wallet and papers. The name was Marco Ruiz. He worked as security for Alpine Resorts. So Ruiz was the killer. The man who murdered Janine Anderson. There was also this, the patrolman said, handing me a wet piece of paper. On it were 2 letters, C, J, and a phone number. Big CJ. Back at the police station, Gershon frowned. CJ? That could be Clark Johnson, the governor. Maybe, I said carefully. But we need proof. We searched Ruiz's things. His visitor card showed he had met often with a lawyer in Denver, James Carver, the same name I had heard before. The next morning, Gershon and I drove to Denver. Carver's office was tall and shiny, with glass walls and expensive furniture. Carver sat behind a wide desk. His suit was perfect, his face calm. Detective Laine, Chief Gershon, he said smoothly. How can I help you? You paid Marco Ruiz $40,000, I said. He smiled faintly. I don't know what you're talking about. We have the bank records, Gershon said, dropping papers on the desk. Carver's smile disappeared. So you hired Ruiz to kill Janine Anderson, I told him. That's ridiculous, he replied. Ruiz worked for Alpine Resorts. Maybe Alpine paid him. You sent the money, I said coldly. Carver leaned back. I represent many clients. Payments go out every day. Who is Big CJ? I asked suddenly. For the first time, his eyes flickered. His hand shook as he reached for a glass of water, but he said nothing. We left his office, but I knew he was hiding something. That night, back in Pinecrest, I couldn't sleep. I lay awake in the dark, thinking of Scott, of Janine, of the initials CJ. If Big CJ was Governor Clark Johnson, he was powerful, too powerful. But if he was guilty, I had to prove it. Chapter 10. The Truth in the Notebook. The next morning, snow covered Pinecrest. The town looked calm, but the case was far from over. At 10 o'clock, Gershon called me. Governor Johnson is here, he said. He wants to see you. I drove up to Hillside, where the rich lived. Johnson's house was large and modern, guarded by security men. They checked my ID before letting me in. Governor Clark Johnson greeted me warmly. Tall, handsome, confident. He looked like the photos on the posters. Detective Laine, he said with a smile. Thank you for coming. Please sit. We sat in his wide living room with mountain views through the big windows. It's a terrible tragedy, Johnson said. That young woman's death hurts me deeply. Pinecrest is my home. I love it." I watched his face carefully. Was this man Big CJ? "I've heard talk," he went on. "Rumors about alpine resorts, about bribes. But you must be careful, Detective. Lies can ruin lives. They can ruin mine. I want only the truth," I told him. "Of course," he said, his smile still fixed. "Find the truth, but don't let false stories hurt me or my family." For a moment his eyes grew hard. Then he stood and shook my hand. "I trust you'll be wise." Outside, the snow kept falling. His words sounded polite, but I knew a warning when I heard one. Back at my hotel, I called Leo in Denver. "Leo," I said, "I think Big CJ is Governor Johnson." He was silent, then said, "Don't say that name unless you have proof. He's too powerful. Bring me evidence, Flick." Evidence. That was the problem. Janine's notebook was still missing. Somewhere inside it was the truth. Later that afternoon, Teresa came to see me. Her hands trembled as she spoke. "Detective, I found something. In Janine's bag. I didn't see it before." She pulled out a small blue book, Janine's notebook. I opened it carefully. Inside were pages of notes about alpine resorts, about Redridge, about land deals, and one page with 2 letters written clearly, CJ. Under it was a name, Clark Johnson, the governor of Colorado, the man who wanted to be president. I closed the book slowly. Now I had proof. "Thank you, Teresa," I said. I sat alone for a long time, holding the notebook. Outside, snow fell quietly over Pinecrest. Janine had died for this truth, but now her voice would still be heard, and I swore to myself, Big CJ would pay. Thank you for listening to The Girl in the Pool. We hope you enjoyed this story. If you liked this video, please click like. Don't forget to subscribe for more emotional and exciting English stories. And please share this video with your friends so they can learn and enjoy too. Your support helps us bring more stories to life. See you next time.